Hello, welcome to my sixth episode of Road to CTA, this time about the presentation timing. The CTA is a standardized, time-boxed test. And this means we can standardize the presentation timing. On the other hand, also exceeding the 45 minutes allocated presentation time has major consequences. Standardizing, as always, has a couple of advantages. It frees up mental load, so you can focus more on the hard parts rather than on how fast or how much time you should spend on each section. It makes sure you stay within the 45 minutes, or ideally, I would say 42 minutes. And it makes sure that you spend enough time, but not too much time on each section. And with that, let's go first to our non-for-profit of the day, Refugee Force. Refugee Force is a Dutch non-for-profit. They provide Salesforce training for refugees. These people get the best training, are highly motivated. But as we all know, getting to your first Salesforce job is really hard. Please go ahead and hire a refugee today. Oh, and if you can't hire a refugee, money is always welcome too. This timeline is very, very detailed. I think it's not overly detailed because it covers my personal presentation. It's not, disclaimer again, please, this is not official anything. Always make sure you adopt it to your needs, to the current situation of the presentation, of the review board, but also of the CTA review board. So always go back to Salesforce and check the latest documentation. But this is what we worked with. You would think it's overly detailed, but I will explain later why it's so detailed. Important to remember are two milestones, I would say, the data migration and the data model, with 11 minutes and 30 minutes respectively. Because first, create our own standardized presentation timeline. Make sure it's yours. It fits to your style of presentation. Don't just copy ours. Analyze yourself, and watch your own recordings and make sure you are within your own timeline. Have, while you do the presentation, at least two milestones. Jakob had, I think, 4 to 6, something like that. I had 2, maybe because my memory is not as good as his, which he memorizes, which I memorize. I knew if I'm not at the data model after 11 minutes, I have been too slow. If I'm already at the data model after 10 minutes, I'm maybe too fast. And the same is true for data migration with 30 minutes. So these milestones help you to make sure you're within your own boundaries, as a lot like with projects. Then what we did a lot, we practiced sections timing individually. So I took the introduction and I just did it over and over again until I fit the introduction nicely within my allocated 30 seconds. Or the data migration, I took it over and over again until the data migration took exactly 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So practice individually, not always end to end. And this is what I already mentioned at the beginning, plan for an early finish. As I said, you should not exceed the 45 minutes. I think this is my personal opinion, the 40 minutes to 42 minutes should be your target mark. If something goes wrong, you still have like 3 minutes of buffer. And I personally had 5 minutes of buffer content. In my case, it was identity flows and having additional system landscape details. So if I'm way below the 45 minutes, I just have additional content I can add to my presentation to fill up to the 45 minutes. I think it just makes it easier for you if you target for an early finish. And with that, I want to finish up today's presentation already. It's a short one. Thank you very much for being with me again. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. And until then, have fun, be a nerd. Bye.